ਇੱਕ ਓਂਕਾਰ ਸਤਨਾਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਪੁਰਖ ਨਿਰਭਉ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ ਅਕਾਲ ਮੂਰਤ ਜੂਨੀ ਸੈਭੰ ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦ। ਧੰਨ ਧੰਨ ਗੁਰੂ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਸੱਚੇ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ। ਧੰਨ ਗੁਰੂ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਸੱਚੇ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ। ਧੰਨ ਧੰਨ ਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ, ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਹਜ਼ੂਰ। ਭੂਲ ਛਿਮੋ ਹਮਰੀ ਪ੍ਰਭਾਪਨ, ਭੂਲਨਹਾਰ ਕਹਾਂ ਕੋ ਮੋਸੋ। हवाए बंदगी आवर दार वजूद मरा, वगरना सौके चुनी आमदैन नमूद मरा। What is the use if I am not able to do bandagi in this life? Wagharna zauke chuni amdan namood mara. There was no need to come if I can't do simran bandagi in this life. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. We are doing the Mool Mantar of the JAPJI, Ek Omkar Satnam. The Creator is only one, and He exists in His creation. Akal Purkh, Karta Purkh, Ek Omkar Satnam. Sat is the only truth in this world, is the Creator Himself. All else is changing. All else is in a paradigm of flux, always changing, never stable. Satnam, He is the only energy which exists forever. And the road to Him is His Naam. He doesn't have shape, form, is not defined. But He has a road to Him, or her, whoever you may say. The JAPJI is all about the meeting of the mind with its own source, dropping the identity of the personality and merging with that from which it has come. We don't know where we have come from. We don't have that experience. Someone may tell us and we may believe it, but that's not experiential. Unless we know it by experience, we can never know truth. Sat cannot be known until it's lived. The truth we talk about in the paradigm of the world exists with falsehood together. It's in duality. It's not an absolute truth. So sometimes we may think it to be the truth, but it's not the truth. Sometimes it's true in certain conditions. Actually, it's always true only in certain conditions. As the conditions change, truth also changes in the world. But the Creator, being the only truth, is always stable, forever existent, in complete continuum. And His paradigm is forever. And there is a certain nature about the Creator. There is a certain nature about that experience which fills us with joy, fills us with anand, and makes us realize that within our source there is a sense of happiness, a sense of understanding of happiness which is forever and which never changes. That is an absolute paradigm. Now, when we walk this path of the JAPJI, when we need to understand certain concepts, certain experiential expressions of Guru Nanak Sahib, which come from the Absolute itself. Mool Mantar has, after Karta Purkh, the words Nirpao, Nirvair, literally meaning fearless, without fear, and without malice, without any evil intention to the other. Now these are coming from a negative sense of emotion for us. We know fear to be negative. That's what we understand. But when life is seen from different planes, then it looks different from different planes. I'll just set the mic once. गगन इसको ठीक कर दे बेटा. Okay, sorry. So when we look at life from different planes, it looks different. What I mean by different planes is, one is the perspective of the ego, me, myself. So I am the center of the world. It's me, and it's always me. I'm always fearful. I'm always planning. I'm always looking after and trying to nurture me. And this is one center of the world. Me, I am the center. Now, there is another center in the spiritual plane. That's not me. When we grow up, when we take expression, when we take a personality, when we become a person after birth, then it's always nurturing me. And I keep growing or nurturing myself or learning. And this me is the personality, it's the ego. So it's a necessity we have, that I am. The first essential necessity, that I exist. So whoever or whatever validates this me in life, I like that. So when somebody says, you sing well, you dance well, you write well, you're a good person, all those are affirmations I hang on to, because I'm trying to define myself. So one need I have is that I am, and that gets fed by the other. And the other can also give me negative feelings, so I can also start hating. So when I love, I also hate. And the other is I want to be happy. And I want to be happy forever. So whatever gives me happiness, if I don't find happiness, I seek pleasure in the senses. If I don't get pleasure in the senses, I seek narcotics or stimulants, physical stimulants. I want that release from my identity. Actually, I have somewhere understood in this journey that this identity is a crisis. And I want release from it. When Ghalib talks about drinking, he says, "Main se garz nishat hai, is ruhe sya ko, ek gona bekhudi din raat chahiye." What do I need from this from this drinking? What am I looking for? I need joy. I need release. Ek gona bekhudi din raat chahiye, beyond the me. So the me has become a burden somewhere around the journey of life. And I'm seeking release from it. Now let's understand fear. Let's understand nirvair, malice, jealousy, these emotions. In the physical plane where I exist, the me exists, fear becomes negative only when it's overwhelming. Otherwise, fear is actually a balance creator. If a mother is not fearful for the child, she'll not look after the child. If I'm not fearful of the fire, I'll put my hand in the fire. If I'm not fearful of driving recklessly, I'll have an accident. So fear is my boundary wall of life. It creates my boundaries. I don't go beyond those boundaries. So it's also, when I go beyond those boundaries, then I get serotonin. When I go near the boundaries, I get serotonin, I get stimulant. That's why people do bungee jumping and fall from the sky and go to mountains which are very difficult to climb. These are all energy booster stimulants from hormones which are coming from within my system when I'm threatening my boundaries. The fear is threatened. So this is a balance. Fear is actually creating life in some way. That's exactly the point I'm trying to make. Everything in life has a place. It has a reason. There is nothing here without a reason. And everything is serving a purpose of nurturing life. That's what the Creator does, isn't it? Is nurturing life. And we sense of blame the Creator and sometimes blame the Creator. Because when I look at life from the perspective of me, then I can always ask, why me? Why I am in pain? And that's confusing. I have done nothing wrong. I don't deserve this. These are questions which come. So this sense of me as the center of life is not really true. But it's again a device which life is created to sustain life. And that's what in Gurbani is called Maya. It's an illusion, but it serves a purpose. So it's not without reason, it's with a reason. Similarly, fear has a place, it has its role to play. Now, why we think fear is negative is because sometimes we get overwhelmed by it. Someone defined fear as like a cloud in the sky. When you go near the clouds, there is no cloud. Such is fear, he says. Looks very solid, looks big, looks humongous, looks scary if it's full of water, dark colored clouds. So it's my imagination also which plays with fear. And then if I'm overwhelmed by fear, then I lose my balance. So the real issue here is losing your balance. So stability is again come back to us. Stability, air and mat. We need the stability in mind to explore life. If we are unstable, so that's why when we lose our balance, when we are angry, we feel very guilty, we feel negative. Because anger means we've lost our balance. So whenever we lose our balance, then we lose. We've lost. We've lost our inner success. That's why he who becomes physical first in life has lost the battle. In the lives of the gurus, they never attacked ever first in a battle. They always said, we will respond. We will not choose physical response as our first response. We will answer your attack, but we will not start a battle. Because he who starts the battle has lost it. He's lost his inner balance. He's seeking a physical vengeance, which means he has lost the mental balance. Now, this is something which we need to understand in life. That fear is in the centered, me-centered life is a balance of life. It creates a balance in life. It creates a reason to exist. And if you really look at how we live, a lot of things are built out of fear. You have electricity connection, you have MCB boards built in. Those are safety precautions out of fear. Tomorrow, the lines can short circuit. You will have a fire in the house. So we build a safeguard. These are boundaries again. So like this, life nurtures itself through its boundaries. And fear is one way boundaries are created. So is jealousy a tool sometimes to grow. Often we see parents, especially in India, they'll tell their children, look what this other child is doing. They try and create the stimulant. Absolutely unwanted, I don't agree with it, but then that's what happens. We can also see the other and get stimulated positively, or even sometimes negatively. We can start looking at accepting a challenge and saying, let me also do this. I can do it better. Whenever in a sports game, whenever a person is standing in front of a challenge, in front of the opponent, there has to be a degree of competition that comes from a sense of I am better than the other. Otherwise, why am I? So I'm trying to prove that to myself and to others. So the sense of competition plays its role in life. or jealousy, looking down on the other, is its own rules, own reasons. And that has survival built into it from our past as well. When the resources were limited, we were competing for the same resource. And so are we even now. We are also competing for similar, limited resources. Now, what Guru Nanak Sahib is saying in the Mool Mantra about fear is that these are two doors which will not serve any purpose for us if we have fear within us. Because the paradigm of the Creator, there is no fear. If we have a fear, then we will never be able to merge into the Creator. The Creator is without fear. There's a reason for that. Whoever is separated from the Creator has a sense of identity separate from the Creator. Has to have. And that itself is fearful. That itself makes us fearful. Not only us as individuals, but also the entire creation, the entire universe. And if you look at the Asa Divar, and in one of the pauris in Asa Divar, in Guru Nanak Sahib talks about everything being full of fear. Peh vich pavan, vahe sadvao. Peh vich challe, lakh daryao. All air is full of fear. The rivers are full of fear. Peh vich agan, kade vegao, vegar. Peh vich tarti, dabbi par. So what he is talking about is that the entire physical universe is full of fear. Fear in the sense it is fallen in some norms. It is following some norm and existing within those norms. Those rules are out of a sense of fear, so to say. And in the end he says, Saglaya pao likhya sir lekh. Who Creator has written fear as the rule for everyone and everything he has created. It has to work with certain norms, certain rules. Those rules are followed out of fear. And when we look at fear, so that's again the balance of life. The Creator has created fear as a means of balance. But that's all right. Life has to be understood in its paradigms. This is my physical paradigm. It's fine. I can use fear as a balance creator. But my ultimate wandering and cessation of wandering in life has to end in my meeting my Creator. Has to end in meeting my inner self, they can say. That within me which is my source. And I can't meet that if I'm full of fear. Fear will be my barrier. Fear will be my reason for not going beyond myself to the degree of understanding of life. Can't listen. I think I've done some changes which are not right. Let me just fix this, please, in a minute. You can hear me better now? Okay. It's audible now? All right. I hope it's okay. Thank you. So fear is a balance creator. But the Creator is not fearful. Now, let's understand what we are fearful of. We are fearful of losing something. We are fearful of change. We are fearful of that change which we don't want. And we are fearful of not getting what we want. These are our fears. We are fearful of the unknown, that which is, we don't know what is beyond. So ultimately, our fear is linked to death. Every fear is about change. and death is the ultimate change. We are fearful of death because we don't know death. But let me explain this. Fear is about something which we feel we will be pained by. So, me is my identity creation all my life, in which I've worked at myself, my ego, my affirmations which people give me, the appreciation I get, the laurels I have earned. This is all about me being I am. But what happens to I am when I die? Where is I am? I don't know. So I am fearful. This is all I have in life. I have created this identity. I have this physical body I nurture, I take care of. I use all kinds of methods to make it feel young and vibrant, and I want to enjoy this body. So this is all I know. I only know life in the physical sense. And death takes away everything. Everything I've created will go away. So I'm fearful. I'm really fearful of what will be life. After death, what do I get? So every fear. So I have a friend I lose. The friend is part of my identity. It's part of my creating the identity. And when I lose a friend, a part of my identity is gone. So the stronger the role, the personality is playing in my life, the bigger the loss. And it can take up to 2 years for me to come out of the cycle of grief when I've lost a dear one, somebody near to me, because a part of me is gone. Its death is part of me dying. We know those people who's in their 90s say, all my friends are gone. What is the fun of life? So their friends were their identity. That was their linkage. That was the way they were relating with life. Now how do I relate to life? So, death is my fear, and death is about the unknown. What happens in death? I'm very fearful of death. I'm so fearful of death. And whenever I'm fearful of something, overwhelmingly fearful, then I'll avoid it. I avoid pain. Although modern psychology says don't avoid pain. When in pain, drive towards the pain. Face the pain. Live through it. Don't suppress it. Don't avoid it. But I do exactly that. So in death, I avoid death, the pain which death will cause. I go numb. I avoid the experience of knowing what is death. And if I avoid that experience, then I will never know what death is, because I have become I've deadened myself to that experience so deeply that I don't know what death is. In our culture, in the Sikh culture, there is a word shaheed. It's actually a Persian word. And this word shaheed comes from the Persian culture to Sikhism. This word was not existent in the Indian culture before this. Shaheed word means witness. Witness to what? Witness to the fact that there is no death. So if I have known life only in the physical form, then there is an absolute death. But if the physical body had some relationship to the spirit, and if the spirit lives forever, these are assumptions. Let me assume for a minute that if the spirit lives forever, and if the spirit lives beyond the physical body, and if I am the spirit in actual form, using the body as a vehicle for some time, then I am, in some form, beyond death, existent. And let me define the I am. The man. The man is existent. Now, if the man is existing beyond the physical body, so the man then is more real than the physical body. Isn't that what it means? It exists beyond the body. The body is constantly changing, and the man is also constantly changing. The mind is also full of thoughts, constantly changing. One part of the mind doesn't change. And to my experience or understanding, that is the carrier of life. Life is carried through change by the unchanging part of life. And that we don't know. In the culture, in Sikh culture, there is in the Guru Granth, there is these phases of the man. Jagrat, Supan, Sakhopat, Turiya. I had discussed these earlier. Awakened person in sleeping, in the REM sleep. Sakhopat, Turiya being the fourth stage. But Sakhopat is the one I'm trying to talk about right now, is the stage when I am in deep sleep, where there is no random movement, there are no thoughts of the man. Where does the man go? When there are no thoughts, where do I go? That's the stage when I get connected to my inner source. And that's how I feel relief, I feel restful, I feel recharged in sleep, because I get connected to my inner source. But mind you, before I go into Sakhopat, I go into the random eye movement sleep, where there is thoughts and there is movement. I do everything is real, as run, I walk, I can cry, I can go through experiences. Those are completions of cycles which I've left incomplete in the awakened state. Nature doesn't like incompleteness, it likes to complete everything. So, we are talking about the man, we are talking about death, we are talking about fearlessness. Fear being connected to death, death becomes our topic of discussion. Because Nirpao is actually only that person or that individual who is connected to his inner source, who knows the reality of the stable mind. All of us are fearful. Gurbani defines this fear. And Gurbani says, it also talks about a source of how do I become fearless. Jin nirpaho tyaya ji, tinka paho sab gavasi. So only the Creator is without fear. We are all fearful. As long as we will be in an identity of me, I will be fearful. Because I has to lose everything. Now, I have come into life. I have known life through I known life through the ego. I lived my life in its joys and sorrows, in its pains and its revelations, in its experiences. And this journey is telling me something about life. So let's pick up the story of Gautam Buddha. Gautam Buddha was nurtured in his house, in his kingdom. His father kept him safe, didn't let him go through any experiences of life. Only happiness. Exposed him to one emotion. Emotions are the lungs of life. They drive us. Like fear can drive us. We will discuss that, how fear is driving us. Now, his father kept him very protected, kept him very isolated. So he didn't have any experiences of pain. But when he grew of age, when he was mature, he went out of his of his house, of his kingdom, of his area, and he saw these four things. First, he saw illness. He saw old age. He saw death. And then he saw sadhu. All these things he had never seen earlier. Now, the more protected we are, the more sensitive we will become. I've never seen it. So the first time I see it, it will hit me with that much more energy. Now, when I get used to seeing something every day, someone is used to keeping a dirty room. Every day it becomes dirtier. He gets used to this dirty room. But if somebody is used to a good, clean room every day and clean sheets, will not be able to survive in a dirty place. Similarly, we get used to our conditions. So he got used to this nurturing, this caring for, which was very isolated, very protected. And the moment all these emotions came to him, it hit him hard. He saw the life in its completeness. He said, life is then not only joy, but if this is the end of life, then then all this I am going through is of no value. If this happiness which I live today has an ending, then this is not happiness. And understand that. Something which I have can be taken away from me at any time, then I really don't have it. I have no control on it. And I have built this me on the condition of what I have. That makes me insecure. Because all that I have built this life on can be taken away from me at any time. Unaware in the subconscious mind, I am aware of this. I avoid this thought. But this can happen. Now, if I have built my life on a foundation which is so insecure, then my life is insecure. Then I am fearful. Because everything I have built life on isn't going to live forever. It isn't going to last much. It can be taken away at any time. It can last 100 years, 120 years, 40, 30, but not forever. And the cycle of life is such that the meter keeps going. Whether it is 50, 60, 100 years. By the time a person is near that age, he realizes life has gone by in a flash. That's the nature of life. If we enjoy it, it goes away faster. If it is painful, it becomes longer. So time is relative, depending on my emotions. So this is my fear. I have built my life in a cardboard box, which can break at any time. Now, if this is what life is, and if it's not forever, then the question should be asked, what is really forever? Which is what Guru Nanak is talking about when he says Ek Omkar. That which is forever. That which exists as an existential energy all the time, everywhere. And knowing that is knowing myself also. Because I exist in that environment. I am not separated from Ek Omkar. I don't know it. I am blind. I don't see it. Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib says, Kahire ban kho janjai, sarab nivasi, sada alepa, tohe sang samai. He whom you are seeking in the forest lives with you. It's not far from us, right with us, within and without. But I don't have the eyes. So, Bani says, Jo hovan so dur paran. I think something is far away, but it's right there with me. But I put all my energy in those aspects of life which I have to leave, which I have to abandon when that death comes. That's my other problem. So it makes me fearful. In this way, if I have lived only the ego life, then I will be fearful. So my sin is what? That I lived the ego life? I don't think so. Maya is not the sin. The sin is not going beyond the ego life, not understanding life in its completeness, not experiencing and knowing the undefined. I'm only exploring the defined, the physical. And there's nothing wrong with that. But not going beyond that is my problem. We talked about the physical body and the spirit, the man. Not knowing the man and its entirety is my problem. I know the physical body. I think my physical body is me. So when the physical body goes, I am gone. And where do I go? Bani says, इस मन को कोई खोजो पाई. इस मन को कोई खोजो पाई. तन छूटे मन कहाँ समाई. Seek and search within the man. When the body is gone, where does the man go? Isn't that a beautiful thought? But we don't seek it. We don't search. If I have a role here which is beyond my ego world, I live the ego world, like you, me, everyone. And Guru says, don't deny yourself that life. Live it. There's nothing wrong with it. The Gurus lived their life. They lived their household life. They had children. They had wives. They even had battles. They even had political conflicts. They even went through the experiences of creating something on earth which was lasting. So this is not about not experiencing the me or the ego life. It's about not going beyond the ego life. That's what is more valuable. If we have to choose one from the other. But I think we need not choose. We live our life in its completeness and we learn how to seek within ourselves. So we start from fear and we find the fearless within us. In the 30 Pauri, 38th stanza of the JAPJI, Guru talks about fear. Jat pahara tiraj sunyar, ehran mat ved hatyar. Ehran mat again stable mind. Ved hatyar the Shabad. Pao khala, here is the fear. Pao khala, agan taptao. Pao is my energy, my fire. Fear is my fire, my stimulant. We all need stimulant, and spirituality also needs stimulant. Music is my stimulant. Pao khala, agan taptao. This is the burning fire within me which will make me seek my tap. And this is what will create my road to my inner spirituality. Where is it? It exists within me, not far away from me. We spoke about Rabia al-Basra. Now, how long does it take to get there? Nar te sur hoye jaat nimuk mein, Satgur Buddh Sikhlai. If we have found the Guru, if we have known the Guru, he says nimuk mein, flash of, less than flash of an eyelid, we can go to that region of world, man, region of our mind, where we will know what is beyond this physical body. इस मन को कोई खोजो पाई. Bhagat Kabir says, बंदे खोज दिल हर रोज. Seek your mind, seek within your mind. ना फिर परेशानी में आए. Then your worries go away. Ved Kateeb Iftira Pai Dil Ka Fikr Na Jaye. I've read so many books, I discourse, I discuss, I debate on issues. Ved Kateeb Iftira Pai. But he says, the worry has not gone from my mind. I'm still worrying. I'm still fearful. I'm still full of jealousies. I'm still full of hatred. I'm not calm. He says, Tuk dam karari jo karo, hazir hazur khudai. Stabilize your mind, make it stationary, thoughtless. Go beyond your changing mind. Hazir hazur khudai, you will find the Creator present with you, right here, right now. Bande khoj dil har roz. Go in your inner mind every day. Just sit and go in. Learn how to do that. Na fir pareshani mai. Then the worries will go away. Within the ego mind, within the changing mind, within the physical form, worry will never go away. It's part of the Creator's Maya system. Worry is part of the system. So it doesn't let us rest. One aspect of the spiritual knowing is finding rest. Bisram. Seeking a mind which is not wandering anymore. Which doesn't go from one thought to the other, jumping from one extreme to the other. Let me say this. It's not as though that will go away completely. I still live that life. Because if I live that life, that's my physical life. But I learn to live beyond it, and then I go back into it when I want. I live my full life. I live my 8, 10, 12 hours. And then I live my other life as well, which is more real, which is more energizing, stimulating, which is my source from within me, which is my anand. So then I never get bored. The moment the interaction with the outside world ceases, the inner world connects. I don't know the route, Maharaj. Which is the route to the inner world? Naam is your route. Jan Nanak ko gur Ahmad dini, jap har pavjal tarna, JAPJI. Learn how to jap. So there again, you know that story where he starts japping Mara Mara and then reaches Ram Ram. Fear, again, drives me to my inner spirituality. Nirpav. I start with bhav, with fear, and reach the fearless. I start with Mara Mara. I am always saying I'm dying, I'm going to die. And then I reach Ram when I will not die. The issues of today's world is that we have actually allowed ego to infiltrate all aspects of our life, including religious aspects. Even that becomes an ego issue. We are comparing our religion, their religion, and this comparison is making it worse. There's a field called comparative religion. I think there should be a field called common religion. Where is the commonness in all religions? That's the root of the system. But we are so used to conflicts and want that so much. That's our kind of drug which we have drugged ourselves to. I am better, my religion is better, my counting is better. This is what it has come to. Religion is counting. What is the relevance of religion counting? No relevance. It's not as though God is standing out there and saying, okay, one more Hindu, one more Christian, one more Sikh. There is no such counting. In that paradigm, if you have not known your inner spirituality, doesn't matter which religion we are in. We are failures. But we count that as our success. Even in Sikhism, we have people saying 96 crore. I don't understand why we need to have this counting. If I have not known my man, then I've lost the game. What crores is irrelevant. Nowhere did Guru Nanak or Guru Gobind Singh Sahib or anyone else say only these numbers matter. They don't matter. He said 5 is more than enough. If a 5 of you can give me your head and your life, then you are my Guru. And he bows to those 5. He says, give me Amrit then. Vaho Vaho Guru Gobind Singh, Ape Gur Chela. He has merged himself to his 5, those who have given their head for him, given everything to him, merged with him. So he says, I live with the Khalsa. Khalsa mero roop hai khas. Khalse mein ho karo nivas. Nirpao. Nirvair. These are states of being where there is no ego and where the Creator's nature is expressed. It's actually a Guru Nanak's way of telling us that we can't go into going through that door and know the Spirit with these emotions as our baggage. So we have to deal with them. Pao khala agan taptao. That's my stimulant. That's my reason. There's a story, a very beautiful story of Baba Buddha. He was only about 10, 12 years old. He was grazing cows and he met Guru Nanak. And having met him, his questions were so serious about life, about death, that I am small so I may die faster. Maharaj calls him Buddha. And Baba Buddha was with the Sikh history for six gurus. Brahmgyani. He knew Brahm. He knew his spirit, spiritually awakened individual. But he started with fear. He was fearful of death. That's how he went into his spirit. So fear in this way can deliver us spirituality if we embrace it, but we avoid it. That's the problem. Even in death, we avoid death. And Bhagat Kabir says, Marta marta jag mua mar bhi na jane koi. The whole world is dying, but none of them knows what is death. ऐसी मरनी जो मरे, भौरना मरना होए. When someone has known this death, then he'll know there is no death. If I know my spirit, the experience of the spirit, maybe the journey is far away. Maybe it will take time. But this is an understanding of life. This is an understanding of what is life. Is it only the physical? Do I avoid the physical? Should I not live the physical life? Should I go into the forest and trying to find myself? There's no need for that. Maharaj says, Man jeete jag jeet. Know your mind and you will win over the world. How do we know the mind? There's something which Guru Nanak Sahib again and again repeats. He talks about Shabad. We will discuss that as we go along. What is Shabad and how it is important, what's the relevance, how it connects us. In the Siddh Gosht he says, Kya paviye sat sucha hoy. Why are you wandering? You will become truth when you cleanse your mind. Sat sucha hoy. Saat Shabad bin mukta na koi. And you need Shabad for that. Shabad is the Guru, not the physical Guru. So here is the understanding of Guru. When the Guru is only physical form, then it's only the body. We don't meet the body. We meet the Guru in the man. And Shabad in the man does something. JAPJI will teach us that. How it is relevant, how it connects, how we do this. Pao khala agan tap tao, panda pao, amrit titatal. Then fear becomes love. Panda pao. Fear becomes love. Panda pao, amrit tit, and amrit comes into life. What is amrit, Maharaj? Amrit is sada, life of forever. What lives forever? The physical body? No. The spirit, the man. If it ceases its wandering and it connects to its source, merges back to the creator where it came from, then its identity gets preserved within the ocean of existence. It loses itself and merges back. But if you and me, if we focus on that individual, then he or she will be there. So just like that, the gurus are always here. They are merged into the Creator, always existing within us. Guru Singh Sahib Maharaj is always here. We don't know how to focus our mind on him. We don't have a focused mind. We have a wandering mind. Amrit is also full of joy, unconditional. Any conditioned joy is also unhappiness. Unconditional love, Amrit. He says, you find Amrit within yourself. Pao khala, agan tap tao, panda pao, Amrit tit-tal, kadiye, Shabad sachi taksal. Kadiye is, it's like a sculpture. A sculptor takes away that which is not needed and creates some sculpture. Kadna. The man is, all that is not needed in the mind is gone. Kadagaya man. By what? By Shabad. And what? Sachi taksal. True wealth is created here. Jinko nadar. This is the life of nadar. We discuss this, the life of karam, the life of nadar. Jinko nadar, karam tinkar. This is where the guru exists. Guru Prasad. People always ask for karamat, some miracles. We look at gurus as a miracle today. Well, Guru Nanak is a miracle of love. All other experiences of my wanting are really futile. Anything I get in the physical will be gone. But if I find love forever, that's the ultimate miracle of life. Think about it. All I've ever asked from life is that which will go away. But what if I get an experience of life which will never go away? That is spirituality. The sada. Jinko nadar karam tinkar. Nanak nadari nadar nihar. Now it is up to us to live our physical life and learn from it. That physical life is not the complete picture. And like a child holds the hand of a father, we hold on to Gurbani, into Shabad, to go into ourselves. Learn how to merge our man with Shabad. You know that? Man with Shabad. The wandering mind ceases and it gets merged with the Shabad. And the Shabad is the Creator himself. That's why Maharaj says, Gaviye, suniye, man rakhiye pao. Sing and listen to the singing. This is meditation. Man rakhiye pao. Find love within your man. And go beyond it. Dukh parhar, sukh kar le jaye. Go to the house of happiness, where there is no sorrow. Nirpao is a state of existence. Nirvair is when I am jealous of the other. But here, the paradigm of Ek Omkar, there is no other. Even when I am cut into two pieces, I am not thinking of who is cutting me. I am only interacting with the one. I am only merged with the one. There is no malice. There is no fear. Because everything I have, I cannot lose now. Remember we discussed fear is about losing, about not getting, about being insecure, about being unstable. And the spirituality is just the opposite. About finding life which is full of love, anand, happiness without reason. And all these can't be taken away from us. If they can be taken away, then they are not spiritual. Now when you look at the history of Sikh gurus, you will see why they have approached life differently. They have not feared death. How they've faced it openly. How even the loss of everything physical did not dent their spirit. In one of the couplets in Zafarnama, Guru Sahib says to Aurangzeb, Bibi gardeshe bewafae zama ke barhar baguzat makino maka. Bibi in Persian means sea. He says sea, Bibi gardeshe bewafae zama. Zamana bewafa hai. The world is not faithful. It's deceitful. In what way? Ke barhar baguzat. As time goes by, the house doesn't remain and the one who lives in the house both don't remain. That's the truth of Aurangzeb. You can go to the old fort and you will see what that means. It's only rubble. Time does that to life. It's creating and destroying itself. Ek Omkar is playing its game. But in this whole facade of what is changing, there is something which never changes. And that's the gift which Guru gives us, of Nirpao Nirvair. Bibi gardeshe bewafae zama ke barhar baguzat makino maka. And then you see, Guru Gobind Singh Sahib's house was destroyed. Anandpur was destroyed. But it existed in spirit, so it's back where it should be. That's the difference. This is the victory of life and the loss of life. In the physical sense, we judge success in physical terms, in money, wealth, power. That's all right. It may have its own. I'm right now not bringing this into conflict. I'm saying that has its own role to play. That's life in itself, but that's not the complete life, number one. Number two, that is changing. And we are blind to it. That which is, we don't see. That which will change, continuously change, we see. Bani says, Peh ke charan kar pao ke. The feet of fear, change them into prem, pao ke. Loin surt kare. And make your eyes, your man your eyes. See with your man, not the physical eyes. The man lives its experiential life. Realizing that is what we realize about life. If we don't realize that, we miss out on life. We miss out on the real life. We live only the changing paradigm. If we do that, then we go into the movement cycles of life. Karam is dictating to us. But if we go to the cycle of Nadar, if Guru becomes our partner, our associate, our helper, our support system, then Guru can expose us to certain experiences of the man which had been with us forever. We didn't know them. And which open the doors of life which are beyond the physical. We don't experience them, but we can try. All this can be gibberish, nonsense I'm talking. Or it can be real, more real than the physical body. I remember one story of Sant Atar Singh. He was bitten by a snake in Bangla Sahib. And then they tried to, but he went through some medical experiences, and then ultimately when he was passing away, people started crying. And he said to them, I am not the body. You've misunderstood. I am not the body. Can we say that to ourselves? Can we say that one day about ourselves? I know that part of me which is not the body. Then I have known my man, I have won it. Then I have known my spirit. Then I have known nirpao nirvair, fearless, without the other's malice. As a culmination of today's talk, I will just say the Mool Mantra once. And if somebody wants to say something or ask something, it'll be a pleasure to discuss it. Thank you all for being here. It's my moment of meeting Guru through you. Going through Gurbani is like going through a spiritual experience within ourselves. So Bani Vichar, Vichar meaning analyzing what it is meaning, and then sitting in dhyan for Bani. Shabad, dhyan of Shabad. Munda santok saram pat choli, dhyan ki karo vibhut. एक ओंकार सतनाम करता पुरख निर्भव निर्भय अकाल मूर्त अजूनी सैवं गुर प्रसाद. Thank you. I welcome you all for any questions or anything which you can add. Thank you so much. If anybody has questions or want to say something, please raise your hand. We can unmute you. But we should have somebody prepared in advance for the Anand Sahib also. Please, Anji.